Hi guys. Um, Welcome to my first YouTube video, which I'm very excited about. Um, I thought that it would be a good idea if I started by reading Shingaling, the current chapter that we're on, and see what happens. So, here we go. We were on page 222, and this chapter is entitled How I Received My First Surprise of the Day. Oh, and there's Morgan behind us. Hi, Morgan. He's going to listen to the story too. Okay. I walked back inside the performance space as Mrs. Watanabe finished unwrapping herself from all her wintry layers. Her coat, her scarf, and her sweater were all scattered around her on the floor, which was wet from the snow that she had brought inside with her. Oh my gosh, she kept saying over and over, fanning herself with both hands. It's really starting to come down now. She plopped onto the piano bench in front of the stage and caught her breath. Oh my gosh, I do hate being late. I saw Jimena and Summer exchange knowing looks. When I was little, Mrs. Watanabe continued, talking in that chatterbox way of hers that some people loved and some people thought made her seem crazy. My mother actually used to charge my sister and me $1 every time we were late for something. Literally, every time I was late, even if it was just for dinner. I had to pay my mom $1. There's honey. She laughed and started redoing her bun, holding a couple of bobby pins in her teeth while she talked. When your entire allowance for the week is only $3, you learn to budget your time. That's why I'm conditioned to hate being late. And yet, Jimena pointed out, smiling in that sly way of hers, you were still late today. Maybe we should charge you $1 from now on. Laughed Mrs. Watanabe good-naturedly, flicking off her boots. Yes, I was late, Jimena. And that's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I should give all three of you $1. Jimena kind of laughed, assuming she was joking. In fact, Mrs. Watanabe said, reaching for her pocketbook, I think I'm going to give each of you girls $1 bill every time I'm late to rehearsal. From now on. That'll force me to be on time. Summer shot me a quizzical look. We started to realize that Mrs. Watanabe, who had pulled out her wallet, was serious. Oh, no, Mrs. Watanabe, said Summer, shaking her head. You don't have to do that. I know, but I'm going to, answered Mrs. Watanabe, smiling. Now, here's the rub. I'll agree to give each of you $1 every time I'm late to rehearsal, if you agree to give me $1 every time you're late for rehearsal. Are you allowed to do that? Jimena asked incredulously. Take money from a student? I was thinking the same thing. Why not? Answered Mrs. Watanabe. You're in private school. You can afford it. Probably more than I can. This last part she muttered, and then she started cracking up. Mrs. Watanabe was kind of famous for laughing at her own jokes. You pretty much had to get used to it. She pulled 3 crisp dollar bills out of her wallet and held them up in the air for us to see. So, what do you girls say? Is it a deal? She said. Jimena looked at both of us. I know I'm never going to be late, she said to us. I'm not going to be late either, said Summer. I shrugged, still unable to look Jimena in the eye. Me neither, I said. Then it's a deal, said Mrs. Watanabe, walking over to us. For you, mademoiselle, she said to Jimena, handing her a new dollar bill. Merci, said Jimena, shooting us a quick smile which I pretended not to see. Then Mrs. Watanabe walked over to me and Summer. For you and for you, she said, handing us each a dollar bill. God bless America, we both answered at the same time. Wait, what? We looked at each other, our mouths and eyes open wide. Suddenly, everything that occurred in the last half hour seemed to lose any importance. If what I think just happened did just happen. The accordion man? I whispered excitedly. Summer gasped and nodded happily. The accordion man. And that concludes our first YouTube reading of Shingaling. I know my lighting is a little bit funky-wonky, but I'm going to work on it. Okay, guys. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. and I am planning on uploading the next chapter of Shingaling tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. This is like my personal YouTube channel that I just created this weekend, trying it out. But, excuse me, Mrs. Gates and Miss Elrod and I are trying to put together like a 5th grade, ooh, that's better lighting, a 5th grade channel so we can upload videos for all the 5th graders at Sequoia. So keep a lookout. I'll be communicating to your parents through Remind and to you through Remind if you check that, also through Google Classroom, and we're going to figure this out together. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.